We're here in our new home.
This is the view we wake up to every morning. Join me as I tell you a saga, a tale, a story about roosters, crazy dogs, a catering company, and finally, success in the Philippines. Chrissy, we moved again. It's the third time in 7 months.
Yes. Join us as we bring you into our new house.
Did we make a big mistake? It's so difficult.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very difficult.
It's like finding the perfect Filipina.
Same as that, I think.
Is it really possible to find a gated home in the Philippines with no roosters and no aggressive dog barking? Some people don't think it's possible. I commissioned a survey on Philippine expats and I asked, do you live in a gated community and do you have no roosters and no dog barking? And what do you pay? Stick around. We're going to show you the results of that survey at the end. But first, we want to give you a tour of our new home. We've already teased you with the view from the patio and the view from out front this morning when the fog was rolling in. We have found a view property overlooking the Cagayan De Oro River. Across the way is a Maya view, which we showed you footage of the negative edge pool and Chrissy lying out there at the pool. We showed you footage of the bridge that we walked over. That's across the river valley directly. We're about 5 minutes maximum, really 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers away from SM Uptown Mall, which is a major shopping center here in the Uptown area. Uptown Cagayan de Oro is maybe 5 miles, 22 minutes from downtown. With traffic, it might take a half an hour. So we're living what looks like to be in the province. You look on our patios. We show you the views from the patios. You look out these patio views. We have a front patio that looks at the pool and one other house across the street, and that's it. There's a few vacant lots. One home's being built 2 or 3 lots away. We're in a gated subdivision. It's only 2 kilometers from our last gated subdivision. There were a lot of things about the house we liked. We had a real nice breeze there. The problem was you couldn't sit on the patio and enjoy the breeze because the next door neighbor had 9 dogs and 3 roosters. And I've heard from a lot of people, Chrissy, and they've said, like, get over it, grow up, get a pair. And it's the Philippines, deal with it.
As a Filipina, I did not really think that there will be an escape from dogs and roosters. I think I've told you about that. I think all over the Philippines, you cannot really find a place where there's no dogs and roosters. If there's no dog, there will be roosters. Or if there will be no roosters, there's always a problem.
Well, I mean, I love dogs. I've always been a dog lover. We were living in La Mirande, and we told the owner we didn't want roosters. We didn't want aggressive dog barking. They told us no problem. The house was quiet as could be. Well, the first morning we were there, we found out there were 9 dogs next door. And at 5:45 a.m., when they feed the dogs, they went wacko for about 30 minutes. But the biggest problem was they had roosters. These were fighting roosters. And what happens when you lose a fight, a rooster fight?
They're going to get your rooster.
So if you win, if our neighbor won the rooster fight, a new rooster would come home. And about once a week, there would be 3 roosters, and one of the roosters, at least, maybe 2, were new, and they were really pissed off, and they would crow every 3.7 to 4 seconds for 36 hours straight. So we're here in a new house, and, we followed our own advice. We said, don't ever sign a long-term lease without camping out for 2 days. And we told we like this house. Wait till you see more of it. We told the landlord, we have had bad luck and we want to camp out. We won't eat in the kitchen. We'll bring our own sheets. 2 nights over the weekend. We want to be here. We want to hear what it sounds like in the morning. So we came. We camped out for 2 days in this house, and boy, oh boy, it was quiet. I mean, really, really quiet. Curfew's at 8 o'clock. We're living at the end of a road overlooking this river valley. There is a pool complex. There's only one house across the street from us. So here we are at the end of this cul-de-sac. There's a pool complex. We've used the pool every day, and we're the only ones who've ever used the pool since we've been here a week. We have 24-hour roving motorcycle guard One night we thought, hey, there's somebody in the pool. It turned out he was on his motorcycle. He's got a really quiet motorcycle and headlight. He roves the neighborhood at night, and then we have a guard-gated community. Really, really nice. Well, I'm going to share with you the economics of this change. We spent more money, but it turns out not much, and we got a lot of pluses. Chrissy, what do you like best about the new house?
The environment, it's very quiet, and there's a lot of things we can see outside. So it's really nice to stay inside because the infrastructure of the house is really good, and also the views outside is just spectacular. You will feel like you're in a vacation. You will feel like you're staying in a resort. So you've mentioned that finding a house here in the Philippines is very difficult, as finding your Filipino.
Yeah, it feels like a real high-end resort. We really got lucky. And this is our third house in 7 months. We came here and we rented and I did a 90-day lease of a fully furnished, silverware, everything, pots and pans. We didn't have anything from America yet. And we liked the interior of the house. And we made a video called We Surrender. We'll show you a picture here. It was a nice townhome. The quality of the construction was just horrible. And we paid 35,000 pesos a month for that property because I took a short-term 90-day with a 18-month option, which we did not exercise. As soon as we got in the property, the aggressive dog barking was just, it sounded like a dog was being tortured 20, 21 hours a day. But the worst thing was, across the street and 2 doors over, there was a catering company, and they had 7 employees. And they would come at 5 a.m. on a loud, the first employee, 5 a.m. on a loud motorcycle. The silverware washing, it took place in front of the townhome. There'd be a 2-car parking space with like a sheet metal roof over the parking area in front. And the 7 employees would operate in that driveway 12, 14, 16 hours a day.
It wasn't really good for walking because you can't see good view because you will see garbages. You will see like a house, empty house.
There were quite a few empty homes there.
Right.
So then we moved and we paid 10,000 from 35,000. We went to 45,000 pesos a month, and we moved and we found a house. It had a vacant lot across the street. It had a vacant lot next door. We were on a corner. We really only had one neighbor. And we came and we checked out the house. We came back the next day and we walked the neighborhood for 2 hours to hear if there was aggressive dog barking. We didn't hear any roosters. The dogs barked at us when we arrived and barked at us when we walked past, but they settled down and we thought, okay, this is our place. And then we just loved the breeze on the patio. We loved the fact that you could walk up to some stores and some shopping, which we didn't have before. And we really liked that house. So I don't know what happened, but on the 3rd day we were there, the roosters showed up. Yeah, 9 dogs. We found out at orientation they had 16 dogs, they said, but it turned out they only had 9. We had to sign something saying we could only have 2 dogs, and roosters weren't allowed in the subdivision. So they just don't enforce the rules. You're not allowed to have roosters, yet he had 3 that were crowing every minute of the day, all day long. I got to the point where the dogs didn't really bother me that much.
It's not that annoying compared to the roosters.
The roosters, because if it was a regular flock of roosters and chickens, they don't crow that much unless they're trying to establish their dominance or they're answering and calling a neighboring rooster. So we had these fighting roosters who were coming and going, and they were pissed off. We told the landlord. The landlord wasn't happy about it. They said they wrote the HOA board. Not 4 months and nothing happened. So we broke our lease. We forfeited half our deposit, $400. And because we were paying around $805 a month in rent, 45,000 pesos. And we made the decision to look for something else.
I really like that house. If you're just gonna remove these 9 dogs and 3 roosters, it is really quiet because there are some point at night when you go out in the patio, you will just hear the crickets, and you will just wish that I hope it's just like this all the time. Before we came here, we really thought that breeze is the most spectacular breeze we can have.
Right, but check this out. We have been here a week and we have not used the air conditioner.
Yes.
We used it on move-in day. And then we thought, okay, let's try it without the air. There's such a breeze coming through here across. And, you know, I got to tell you something. I used to watch these vloggers who lived outside Dumaguete in the hills of Valencia, and they would go, oh, you know, we sometimes we don't need air conditioning in the evening. And I was like, you know, these people are just telling us a story. Nobody's living in the Philippines without using air conditioning. It's impossible. And at the other house, we got this breeze because we were at elevation. And a lot of mornings, we would not turn the air conditioner on until like noon or 1 o'clock. And Chrissy was like, oh, turn the air on. You know?
because it was hot.
In this house, we have a fan we use. Sometimes we don't even use the fan. We are getting, we're right on the edge of the river valley, as you've probably seen already in these photos. We are getting crazy breeze through here. We've lived here for a week without air conditioning. We use a fan at night, and occasionally we'll put a fan on in the room we're in, circulating fan, but we are not using air conditioning. From our front door to until your feet get in the water of the pool is maybe 30 meters, 30 yards. That's about how far it is.
Yeah.
So, this has just been spectacular. There's double or triple the breeze at the other house.
Right. Yeah. So, you know, if you're gonna tell anyone about not using the air conditioner for 1 week, it is a story that very hard to believe.
If you had told me there was a way to come to sticky, humid Philippines, where the humidity is always around 80%, and I could live in a house without air conditioning, I would have bet a fortune you were pulling my leg. Yeah, I would have called BS. I just didn't believe it was possible. And I knew, okay, if you move up to like Baguio or you go up to the high mountains in Malabalay, Bukanan, yeah, okay, maybe. But we're like 5 minutes from the mall. It's only 2 kilometers maximum. And then we could be downtown at the giant wet market in 25 minutes.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And you would think we're living in the provinces. Let's talk money, and we'll update our budget at the end of the video also. In addition to the survey results, where we asked, did people find no roosters, find no aggressive dogs, and what do they pay? We'll update our monthly budget at the end of the video also. So, Chrissy, this property was listed for 55,000 pesos, which is a little bit less than $1,000 per month, U.S. dollars. We negotiate, and they want a 2 month security deposit, which is standard. Everybody's asking 2 months security deposit. We've never paid the 2 months, but we've had difficult negotiations to get rid of it. This property, we signed a 1-year lease. We negotiated the rent from 55 to 50, which was difficult. The landlord wasn't keen to let the lower rent amount, but I said to him, like, hey, I'm the perfect tenant. I have a pension and I can't be unemployed. Here we got a 1 month deposit. So our first month's rent here came to $891.27 using this is a really amazing thing. So we were paying $45,000, but we had to pay in pesos here in the Philippines. And in order to get your money to the Philippines, you're going to get a haircut of 2, 3, 4%, depending on what service you use and how you do it. And then if you have to get it in GCash and then send it to the bank. So it used to cost me an extra $37 in transaction and conversion fees to get the rent into the landlord's bank. But in this case, I'm able to pay through dollars because the landlord lives in California. And so I save $37 every single month. So the net increase is 51 extra US dollars per month. So we went from 45,000 to 50,000 pesos, but instead of it costing me 91 extra dollars per month, it only cost me $51 per month. Now there's some other savings. We used to pay 800 at the last HOA. Here we only pay for the trash 300. They pay the HOA, so that's another $10 a month savings. So altogether it's about $45 dollars a month extra. What do you miss about the old house? Nothing.
Our cat.
Yeah, we had a feral cat, I guess you call it. We tried to get her in a box, but she jumped out.
She was scared.
She was
So
scared. We
we
almost
failed.
had her. We were going to bring her here,
Yeah.
but and just have her live outside because she's an
We
outside cat.
we failed
But
to
we
take.
lost our pet. This house is about 2,000 square feet. It's got the terrestrial windows, so it's got this tall ceiling here. We have a second living room of sorts. We have a loft upstairs. We have a complete laundry room and maid's room basement downstairs. There is a separate, it has its own bath. It has its own bedroom, and it has a full laundry room with hot water for the washing machine and large sink and everything you could want. So it's 4 bedrooms and 3.5 bathrooms. So we picked up an extra bathroom
Yeah.
in the deal. We picked up about 35% more square footage.
Yes.
We have land all around the house.
Yeah.
We have this wild ravine behind us with banana trees, crazy banana trees. We have the rotunda in front of us with the pool, and that has no neighbors. The house has got a lot of pluses. These doors, they imported the wood for the doors from California, and they're like 3 to 4 inch solid, like walnut. I don't know what they're made of, but
Heavy.
it's not fully furnished. The other house was fully furnished, a fully furnished kitchen, European or Western style mattress. So we had to buy a mattress topper. We had to buy a microwave. We had to buy a complete kitchen, rice cooker. We really needed to buy some
Kitchen
things. There were some expenses that maybe, but we already had a karaoke speaker and a TV, and we have a water, hot and cold water dispenser. We're starting to accumulate things. Okay, let's talk about what we gained in this property. For the extra $40, $45 a month, what did we get? Well, the view outside this, the backyard view, the side view, the fog this morning overlooking the river valley,
Sunrise.
the sunrise in the morning. Oh my, the views, it's like you're at a resort. So, I mean, that is just incalculable how we found this place.
And when you go to the resort, the property will be shared with a lot of people. But here, it's like we rented the whole resort for just the two of us.
But even with the view, if they had roosters or dog noises, we wouldn't have moved in. We were so sensitive to that issue. So in the front of the house, we have this gorgeous view deck, stainless steel railings, the quality of the ceramics and the masonry and the stainless steel rail, the quality of the home is the highest I've seen. We have not rented a property. We've not been in a property. The bathroom the quality of the construction materials is just the highest of anywhere we've been yet.
And I really like the bathroom here. It's
the bathroom fixture. The only thing is they have urinal. Each bathroom has a urinal. So there's 3 urinals in the house. There's enough room in the bathroom for a urinal.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird. At first I was like, but I've started to use it in the master bathroom. But there's 2 giant bathrooms, one downstairs, one upstairs, and then there's a hall bathroom, which is really, really nice. And then the maid's room has a full bath too. So,
well, I really like it.
So the other thing is, in the Philippines, it's really uncommon to get hot water at the sinks. Like in our last 2 houses, we had no hot water at the kitchen sink, and we had no hot water at the bathroom sinks. Here, we have hot water at every sink. The shower pressure is awesome. The quiet is like, I've never, and we're going to give you the survey results soon because people, we asked them if they were able to find a quiet. And I think without giving away the survey results, I think it's a little bit like looking for the perfect Filipina. If you look long enough and your luck's good, your karma's good, one will fall in your lap. And, this didn't quite fall in our lap, but I feel really lucky. I mean, really lucky. The key was never give up and keep looking.
Yeah. Thinking about your bingo system for finding a person, for finding a Filipina, you can really apply it in finding house in the Philippines.
Right. Because you're going to get scammed.
So if you will really apply the same bingo system in finding rental houses in the Philippines, it's really applicable. When you talk about the nice to have, need to have, deal breaker about the rentals, It's really
And
important.
our advice is don't rent anything long term. Try and do short term, and camp in the home for 2 days. Rent the
Yes.
property before you agree to move in. Figure out who the neighbors are. Figure out the noise situation. Same thing with meeting a
Yeah,
Filipina.
yeah.
Don't
Get
put a
to
ring.
know.
Yeah, don't send money. Don't put a ring on her finger before you get to know
Yeah.
who it is you're
And
dealing with.
spending time together for a year before really tying the knot is like spending days in the house before renting it.
Hey, we went to immigration yesterday, Christy. That was interesting.
Yeah.
We went to, every 2 months. Other people are able to use the online system. For me, it never works. It doesn't accept my entry date. It just doesn't accept it. And so I have to go down to the CDO immigration office. And the last time they had me sit in a booth and ask me some questions. I thought that was unusual. This time they asked me if I was married. I said no. They asked me if I have family here. I said no. And then they called me over to the booth later. Usually I'm in and out in 5 minutes. And this time they asked me if I had a girlfriend. I said, yeah, I have a fiance. And they said, well, is she here? And I said, well, she went down to the mall to get some street food, some octopus balls. And they said, can I speak to her? Can you get her on the phone? Or can she come up? They wanted Chrissy to come up,
Yeah.
and then they wanted to speak to her alone. Tell us about that.
Um, they just want to make sure that you're a good person here in the Philippines. So they ask me if he's kind person, if he's not a what do you call that? The one that beating
Wife beater?
yeah, wife beater, if he's not a drunk person, like drinks always and they just want to ensure that I am in a safe relationship.
Yeah, that was crazy. And she was serious. She said
She's
that you're my
very
guarantor.
serious. Yeah, she told me that I am now your guarantor. So whatever your performance in the Philippines, I will be responsible for it.
Yeah, can you believe? And if the Bureau of Immigration online site worked, I could have just got my 2 month extension online.
Right?
But instead, in person here, they're put me through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the housing situation here. CCTV cameras everywhere. There's about 8 CCTV cameras covering the perimeter and interior of the property. So the security situation's over the top. Just the quality of the materials, the flooring, it just feels like you're in the West, in a really expensive home in California, something like that.
Very
And the
comfortable
couches,
couch.
real leather. I mean, we had like Naugahyde or something at the other couches. They weren't that comfortable. These are really comfortable couches.
Yeah.
There's another couch upstairs that's comfortable
Yeah,
too.
very.
Oh, we were talking about security. The master bedroom is like a safe room. So there's like a 3 or 4 inch walnut door, and there's an opening on the door like one of the medieval knights. The last time we published our budget, and here for our budget, you just change the rent. It's a $50 more. We went from 45,000 pesos to 50,000. That's the only real difference. And Chrissy, here we can summarize our last budget. At the other house, the first house, it was 35,000. The budget stayed the same. Then it went to 45,000. All the other budget items stayed the same. Now it's 50,000, but we really pay in dollars, so it's more like 47.5. It's an extra $50 a month. Budget stays the same other than that. Now, I asked on Philippine expats with 44,000 members, I asked the question, for those fortunate enough to have found a rental home in a gated subdivision without roosters and aggressive dog barking, what do you pay? And so I posted that this morning. We've had about 100 votes so far, and I asked less than 25K, 25 to 35,000 pesos, 35 to 45,000 pesos, or over 50,000 pesos per month. And 45 people, 38% roughly, said they pay less than 25,000 pesos. Now, whether they really have quiet, I don't know. 18 votes, 25 to 35,000 pesos. And 11 votes, 9%, 35 to 45,000 pesos, and over 50,000 pesos, 14 votes. Now, we got a lot of comments, too. Stan writes, not possible to find a place without barking dogs. Absolutely not possible, unless it's ultra high end and you have distance between you and you have responsible neighbors. Otherwise, not possible. Well, I think that's what we have here. It's ultra high end. It's, they wanted 55,000. We pay 50. We pay in dollars. It really came out to about 47.5 because of the savings there. And we have a lot of distance. There aren't very many houses here. Yeah. Phil says, good luck with that. Don says, I'm living in a nice gated compound, but we have roosters and a screaming goat somewhere nearby. Since they're not right under our window, it's just background music. Russell says, 25K, no roosters, but noisy dogs and cats most of the time. Occasional loud karaoke.
Yeah.
Levita writes, condo in Clark, not house, quiet. James writes, built in the barangay for 6 million-ish. Dogs bark but don't bite, and the roosters don't bother me. You do have a weird one in the backyard that keeps screwing the goats. Ducks, yeah. Oh, God. I'm not going to read the rest of that. BF Parañaque, 45K, 6 bedrooms, 3 full baths, bungalow. No roosters or aggressive dog barking. Pick up trash almost every day. Dan writes, I was house hunting in Binyan, Laguna, a few years back. I was looking at a subdivision that Manny Pacquiao owned a home in. I don't recall seeing any dogs or roosters there. Could have been because it was an exclusive neighborhood. Bill writes, no roosters, laugh out loud. Maybe an all-American subdivision far from anyone else. Todd writes, this does exist. We live in a gated community that has no roosters or noise from them, and only dogs are within each owner-renter's units. Angeles City. You can find them, but you will need to pay. We do rent, we own. We don't rent, we own. Many will believe we're crazy for investing in the Philippines, around 18 million pesos. Don writes, I live in a Korean community, no dogs here. Well, I don't know what he means that. Joel says, in your city, most villages have restrictions, no roosters and dog barking, gated, secured. Makati. Yeah, well, Makati. Daniel writes, move to Davao City. Lee Ann says, price depends on your location. Walter writes, just buy the noise-canceling headphones and get on with life. And, so there's sort of, other people's kind of, what do you think? Are they reinforcing what we're saying? It's possible?
Well, there's a lot of them that don't believe it's possible. And some of them think it's possible. Some of them thinks it's possible. They really hear the noise, but they just don't care. That's why it doesn't bother them.
So you've had rooster noise your whole life. When I used to call you long distance, we had to pause constantly for roosters because it was hard to talk. What is it like living here with no roosters and no barking dogs?
It's peaceful. You can have a peace of mind.
But when it came to finding a property in the Philippines, it was just like finding a Filipina. I struck out. Third time bingo. So far, it's been a week. Check back.
So there you have it. Welcome to our new house.
Thanks for joining us. House hunting in the Philippines, 2024.